Welcome to this episode where we're going to be discussing some of the commonalities that we've seen in all of these recovery stories. The commonalities in healing, why some people recover, the basic principles that we've all followed. So stay tuned and just notice what stands out to you. Notice the parts of you that talk as I am sharing this information, and maybe where you might be able to bring in some of these approaches. So we'll start off with this first one, awareness. The awareness that you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You've been in survival for a very long time, and you need to feel safe. Your brain is misperceiving threats all around you. And again, this is not something to be fixed. As you cultivate safety, this evolves. Your state evolves, your mind, your body, your sensations change. This is a journey of survival to safety. And there are many pathways to safety. And it's this safety that causes healing, I guess you can say. It is safety that results in the resolution of sensations and symptoms. The resolution of symptoms, the resolution of these stories of survival is a byproduct of this safety that we cultivate in our mind, in our bodies. Another one is acceptance. Accepting this moment right here without asking it to be any different, without expecting it to change, without putting the pressure to fix it. Now, acceptance is this form of surrender to the here and to the now. Maybe it's not what you expected or what you deserved or what you hoped for or what you want, but it's here. This is the moment here, and we can't reject that or fight that reality. We accept what's here, even if it sucks, knowing that just because we accept something doesn't mean we accept defeat or that this is how it's going to be forever, but that this is how it is right now. We can hold this acceptance while also holding hope that it will change, that things may soften and be different. But surrendering to the moment without trying to desperately fix it is vital, absolutely vital. God or higher power, I say God. God, the connection to something greater than yourself, someone who is for you, is life changing. As much as this is a mind and body journey, it's a spirit journey. I cannot separate mind, body, and spirit. Believing in something greater than yourself, again, has profound effects. It helps you realize that you're not alone. It's not all up to you, that there's a God who's for you, not against you. This simple fact can change and shift everything. This connection to faith, to a power outside yourself, which is inside you, technically, is a lifeline. And it can make the difference between giving up and continuing to show up every day. Allowing. We've heard a lot of talk about allowing, and this is vital in this journey. If we are trying to interrupt, redirect, get rid of, we're always in this fixing mode, which reinforces this survival response. When a symptom or sensation rises up, we do not need to get rid of it. We can build the capacity to be with it little bits at a time. Allowing the emotions, the sensations, the thoughts, the parts to be there without judging them or fixing them is absolutely important. It is top tier on this list. And bringing in curiosity is what helps uncouple fear from your experience. So being curious as to what is showing up. We don't have to figure out why. We don't have to figure out why. In fact, we don't have to figure out anything. We need to be with what is here. And as we allow, we can support. We can bring in supports. I love, love, love somatic supports to help create a container of safety with this experience. Grieving and emotional work. The grieving process is a vital part. It is what helps us cultivate more acceptance. It allows the emotions to surface, to process, what has happened. It is a necessary part of healing. If you're bypassing grieving, you are bypassing healing. And we also know that emotional repression is at the core of much of the sensations we experience. Think of the amount of energy it even takes to suppress an emotion, to repress grief, even. Think about what is happening internally in your system. This is why it's so important to cultivate safety with emotion. Building this emotional intelligence is paramount. The inner work. So the emotional work and grieving is part of the inner work, but I also love to incorporate parts work and belief work into my work. Now, parts work, the understanding of this internal family system that we have, these parts of us that show up, and parts can show up as sensation, as emotion, as a thought, and understanding this internal world brings you awareness. It helps to uncouple fear. You realize that it's just a part of you in survival, not all of you. That's where you start to make room for what else is here? Who else is here? And it's a process of meeting these parts with compassion, with understanding, without judging, and building trust, and eventually allowing for this evolution, this organic evolution and integration to happen. Outcome independence and indifference. We're not here to judge, criticize, fix, force, analyze, figure out, solve, or forcibly shift anything. We're not here to add more pressure, intensity, judgment, fear, survival. We're here to bring in compassion, awareness, allowing. We're here to cultivate safety with what is here and support this organic evolution of safety. It's not our goal to fix. This is such an important piece here. Our goal is to eventually get to a place of outcome independence and indifference, doing a practice not with the intention to get rid of something, but doing it because you know it's good for you, you know it's supportive, you know that parts are listening to you. This indifference, meaning even if this symptom is here, even if the sensation is here, even if this emotion is here, this thought, this belief, this part, I'm okay. I'm safe. That's what we're going towards. That's our goal here. Your approach matters. If you are approaching this work and your motivation is, I need to get rid of all of these symptoms, then you're already stepping into it with this story. That is your guiding principle here. And it's increasing that internal alarm. So if you're coming into this with intensity, high stakes, and pressure, you're inadvertently reinforcing a stress response. We need to bring more ease, flexibility, grace, compassion, indifference. If you're approaching your healing in the same way that got you sick, with that militant attitude or pressure, intensity, pushing all of that, having to fix it, do it differently. This is your chance. This is your chance to show your mind, your body, the parts of you that we are different. Things are changing and we're becoming something new. We're evolving. Support. You need to hear this. We all need support. All of us on this journey need support. Every human needs support. You don't have to do this completely alone. Supports can look like resources that you can access, meditations and tools and knowledge and books. Could be reaching out to a community and connecting to others who are on a similar healing journey as you, being seen and heard and understood. It could mean meeting with a therapist regularly, someone who is mind, body informed, trauma informed, grief informed, and being witnessed in your grief, having a safe container of expression. Support is important. And we can definitely we can allow symptoms and sensations and all of that. But can we allow support? Can we allow someone to hold us? Can we allow ourselves to be vulnerable in a space of safety? This is, for me, what matters most is knowing that you're not alone. Knowing that you are supported immediately brings in a sense of safety, of being held. And this helps to decrease that, survival stress response, that fear, that activation, and wire in a sense of stability, support, being held, being seen, being witnessed. You matter. Like, how good does it feel for someone to truly see you and to support you without wanting anything in return? Joy, bringing in joy, making joy a priority. We talk about allowing all the uncomfortable stuff, which is so important, but it's also important for us to allow the things that make us feel good, that are good for us, the things that might feel completely foreign to you initially, like joy. If you've been in survival for so long, it feels inaccessible. And joy is skill that we cultivate on this journey as well. So prioritizing things that can bring us joy or laughter that, even if we can't access that in the moment, but getting curious and giving permission for joy to be there begins this beautiful relationship and plants the seeds for this expression of joy and for this cultivation of joy within you. Maybe asking what might feel elevating to my emotional state. And we're not doing this you know, when we're noticing something, like we're not going to redirect and say, no, no, I'm not going to feel this emotion or this sensation. I'm going to just elevate, right? Because if you watch my previous story, you know how that can backfire. But we are making opportunities for joy in your world, in your life. So, amidst the allowing of the sensations and the emotions, can we also allow joy and make that a practice, even seeking out the things that brought you joy in the past? For me, it was as simple as music, putting on songs that reminded me of times in my past that did bring me joy, watching something funny, connecting with people for myself, connecting with others has been a huge sense of joy. Joy helps us rewire as well. And so making joy a priority. Movement is another pivotal piece. No matter how small, I know many of us have little to no capacity, but movement is good and necessary for our bodies. Movement allows for emotion to move when we move our body. And there are many gentle, accessible ways that we can move to start to allow energy and give permission for it to move so that emotion can surface. When we move, our brains get the message that and our emotions get the message that they have permission to move with us. And so maybe it looks like just laying down and slowly stretching. Maybe it looks like eventually going outside and, gently swaying back and forth. Maybe it looks like a short walk. Maybe eventually it gets into physical movement. It's good for our bodies, right? It's good for our cardiovascular health, for detoxing, for building muscle and strength, but it's also good for our brains. So we know that movement promotes neurogenesis. So the growth and development of new neurons in our brains. And combining movements with practices like visualization, even meditation or orienting embodiment. So these walk and talks, going on a walk and, you know, recalling a really feel good memory or even thinking about a future or something that helps you embody a state as you're moving is magic. Absolute magic combining that. Even combining music with movement, being able to connect to an emotion attached to that song is so healing to the body. And another one finally is living as we heal. And I know this one's hard, but if healing is your life, you need to reassess something because we can live as we heal and heal as we live. And the living is a part of the healing. And I know you're going to say, but I'm limited. I'm in bed. I can't do anything. But it starts there. Trust me when I say it. Can you choose one thing that is aligned with the life you want to live? One thing. And start to do that from wherever you're at. Maybe it looks like taking on something creative, a creative project. Maybe it looks like writing something, starting a blog. Maybe it looks like um, visualizing and being in bed and connecting to the places you want to be, the things that you want to see, the person you are becoming. And obviously, depending on your capacity, that's going to evolve. It's going to evolve into meeting with people and traveling and having new experiences. And even if the symptoms are there, who cares? They can come with us. I had to get to a point in my journey where I still had many symptoms. And yet I decided they are no longer going to rule my life. They are no longer going to define who I am. I can be at home in suffering, or I can have a change of scenery and experience something new even with the symptoms there. And so I made that decision to take them with me. If they were already going to be there, then I wasn't going to miss out anymore, especially not for my kids. No. So asking those questions of how can I make the most of this life that I have in front of me, knowing that it will evolve and change as I continue to cultivate safety. Can I prioritize the things in my life that are aligned with the life I want to live? Can I take symptoms along with me? Can I be open to experiencing something new and being curious as to what that might feel like? I hope that these resonated with you. Of course, this list isn't exhaustive, but if you've watched my Hope Ropes episodes up until this point, you see that most of us talk about some of these basic principles. And these are things that really were foundational in all of our recovery journeys and things that I really thought that you would benefit from too. And maybe you're doing all of these things, or maybe there's a few that you could work on, and that's okay. Never approach this from the place of condemnation or judgment. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Just take this as information. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and come in with more ease, more grace, more compassion, more flow on this journey. Maybe it doesn't have to be as hard as it is. Maybe it doesn't have to be like suffering. Maybe it can be softer. Maybe it can be grace filled. That's my invitation for you. Let me know what you think, like, and subscribe.